I'm Glenn McGinnis, and this is Outburst. On the program, do you have a positive outlook for 2022?
No, not really.
Positivity is the way to go.
I've booked 2 trips.
I hope we don't have the same fires in BC.
But first, the end of 2021 turned out to be a disappointment for many of us with the emergence of the Omicron variant, which resulted in many Canadians having to once again follow COVID restrictions during a holiday season. We've been through this for almost 2 years now. So, would previous safety measures work, or should we try something new? Our question.
Would another lockdown make a difference in slowing the virus?
Might make a difference. It wouldn't change a whole lot for us. We're pretty well locked down anyway these days, but I think it would only help because a lot of people don't seem to be as cautious as what we are.
Yes, I think so.
Why?
Well, you have all the kids, so none of the kids are in school, so I think that helps prevent the spread through the kids. Not all the kids are vaccinated. They don't have their second vaccine, so that's important to me, and so yes, I think so.
I really can't say. The way they're saying that it's going right now is it's like it's just zero. We can't stop it. It's just like a flu, and there's no stopping it. So I don't know if a lockdown is going to control it or not, but if that's what they think is best. That's what we got to go with, I suppose.
I don't know. I think it would, because it would stop people from interacting with each other, especially people who have the virus but aren't aware of it, have no symptoms. But it'd be pretty hard on people.
Considering it's past the holiday season and everybody's already had the time with their families, I would say that maybe it could be helpful. It's really hard to say. I mean, you have places like the United States that just let it, kind of air out, and a lot of places are getting less cases now because of it. But honestly, it's really hard to know where to stand on this one.
I don't know whether it's out because it's out there in the community now so much. I don't know if it would or not, to be honest with you. I guess most people are. I know us. We're not going anywhere most of the time. But I got 2 minds on that. I'm not sure.
Probably it would, but at some point we have to get out and we have to live. So I think vaccinations are really important. Those that are not fully vaccinated must put their minds to getting vaccinated. That might be a better answer than another lockdown. We cannot continually lock down. Economy and humankind cannot take that much longer.
No, because they've already tried that. And it didn't work the first time. It would only work if everybody did it, and everybody's not going to do it.
My personal opinion is that I don't think the lockdown helps anymore, just because with all our vaccines, I got my booster shot as well as the flu shots. I feel like the only way we can beat this now is to kind of get that herd immunity going. With that herd immunity, I feel like that would allow us to live with this instead of avoiding it completely, because obviously we tried that before and that didn't work out. So I hope this time around it might be better.
The servers and stuff, there's no work for them. And we've laid them off. This will be 5 times in 22 months. So I think it's time we learn to live with it instead of sticking our heads in the sand.
We don't know about that already, right? Like, we've been through so many lockdowns by now, but it's just like, I really feel more comfortable wearing masks and social distancing and everything, but lockdown, I don't see how it's really, improving the situation.
Although I'm not qualified to make any sort of guess there, I would think yes. I have been a firm supporter of stricter lockdowns. I feel like perhaps there was an opportunity that if we had have gone into a more strict lockdown earlier and kept it longer, maybe we wouldn't still be in this. Who am I to know? But I wouldn't be against another lockdown.
I'm unsure, because from what I've read, a lot of the increase in the amount of people contracting the virus seems to be because of a lot of unvaccinated people. So if those people continue to not want to get vaccinated, I don't know how another lockdown is going to necessarily help fix that issue.
It will probably help us stop the spread, but it's also kind of having a toll on mental health. So it's kind of a win-lose situation. So I'm not really sure about that.
Yes, personally, I believe a hard lockdown is probably the way to go and would definitely slow things down and give us a bit of a breather and hopefully buy some time for medical professionals.
No, I don't.
at all. And the scientific evidence confirms that. So I think that what is being done now is all that could be done. And basically it looks like the governments have resolved, without saying so, to just let it go. And I think that's what they're doing. And that's, I think, we have to do.
No, not at all. So I'm not Canadian. I'm coming from Germany. And you see, if you're keeping distance, wearing your mask, and getting vaccinated, getting your booster, we'll go through that pretty good. You too?
I agree. I think the locking down, particularly for children, is very harmful.
Yes. No, absolutely not. The lockdowns can't slow an airborne pandemic down. Viruses are ubiquitous. They're all over the place. We breathe in dozens of different viruses every week. We have since the day we were born. So no, there's no amount of masking or social distancing will have any effect whatsoever. And I think that's been proven in the data that's been coming out over the past 3-4 months.
I really don't believe it is going to make a difference. I think it's about time that we get on with our lives. It's not people are going to get sick. It's going to be like the flu. We've all got our shots. Let's just keep on living.
I follow the science, and I think the middle way is to listen to government policy that tends to be taking as much information from as many sources, and so I feel pretty confident just following government policy.
You know, at this point, I don't think it is. I think the key is to keep getting people vaccinated. I mean, seriously. And I'll speak from my own experience that we took all the measures we could, and both my wife and I caught COVID. And we're fully vaccinated, and the symptoms were like a medium cold for a week. We've recovered. And, you know, we're pretty thankful that we were vaccinated.
For a while there, it looked like the pandemic was on the way out. Vaccinations were up, case counts were down, and it finally looked like there was an end in sight. But now, here we are again with case counts exceeding those in previous waves. So we took to the streets to ask Canadians when they think we can put COVID-19 behind us once and for all. Our question:
how long do you think the pandemic will last?
I'd say at least maybe another year or two. I forgot where I was reading it, but I think historically long-term pandemics have lasted around 4 to 5 years. So I think we're maybe in the middle of it. I hate to be all skeptical about that, but I think it'll be another year or two.
Talking to some doctor friends of mine, they figured it'd be over this summer, but with new variants just coming every 6 months, I'm thinking we're in for a few years.
Like eventually it should end up just a cold, as far as I was led to believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't think more than a year than this, kind of tapering down, hopefully.
So in 2020, they said this was going to be a 7-week thing, and then that became a 14-week, and then 20 weeks. I feel like this might last for another 2 to 3 years. I feel like we're going to be wearing masks for a little longer, but you know what? I'll do it if that means I can go everywhere.
Again, as one of the other doctors said, we're in the stage of it becoming an endemic, right? Leaving the pandemic worldwide fear. And if we learn to live with it, the pandemic, if you will, shouldn't exist more than 2 full calendar years from when it started. With that, I think this virus will be just part of our normal life.
Apparently, what happens is the virus doesn't want to kill the host, so what it does is continually adapt, and eventually it becomes a kind of a noxious presence like every other flu. So I think it's going to peter out that way.
So you think we're stuck with it for a while, though?
Yes, yeah, maybe even another year. Don't want to say that, but biology has to take its course.
Oh, at least like another 4 or 5 years. I think that's how long it's going to be. I was just talking to my friend about that, actually. I read an article, and it said something about it lasting until 2024. But I think it might be a little bit more than that with how the rate of things right now are going.
My feeling is the pandemic will eventually become endemic, and it's here to stay. And I think we'll adjust. We'll hopefully all get vaccinated and learn to live with it.
I don't think it's ever going to go away for real. I think it's going to slow down a lot, though.
things will get more normal.
How about you?
Like 4 or 5 years.
I think that I'm kind of going with what I read, and I believe that this wave is going to affect enough people that I think we're going to come out the other side of this. I mean, the new variants are always a worry, but I think that just the vaccination rates and those that are contracting are going to put us over the hump. That's what I hope, and that's what I'm reading, and I like to think that's true.
As long as Trudeau is in. Yeah, until Trudeau gets out, until Tam leaves, until they change the leader of the WHO. Who else? Any other power that be who is promoting this plandemic.
I think until next summer. I think that the actions that we're taking and the high vaccination rate are now going to pay big dividends. When the weather warms up, I think the virus will become less prevalent. So I'm looking at the summer.
Where's my crystal ball? I don't know. Some authorities are saying now that this is going to be the endemic, this one, because so many people are going to get it, that it'll probably be the end of it all. But I don't know. I think it'll always be around us, and I think we'll always have to get a booster or something rather like the flu shot.
Listen, I thought it'd be over long before this, but I mean, we're into our second year now, so it's it's a bit on the crazy side, but it's got life shagged up, that's for sure.
Oh my, hopefully it goes away soon, but I don't know, like with all these countries that are not really vaccinated and other people that are not vaccinated, I really feel, I hope that it's going to go away soon, but I don't know. My feeling is that it's going to be with us for quite a while.
I'm hoping that we're going to come out of this the middle of February, that the new variant will ease things up down the road, so I'm hoping middle to end of February sometime.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm hoping, if I could say, like by this summer things will get back to sort of normal and then see what happens.
I think certainly we were all hoping that, by now we'd be getting to the end of it. Hopefully with the Omicron variant, we are seeing so many more people, unfortunately, getting the virus that I know that one of the end points for this, one of the ways that we would exit the kind of pandemic situation we're in now, is if a lot of people get it, then the virus has fewer people to jump to. I know that's not an ideal way to kind of get to the end of this pandemic, but I know that is one version.
I think the pandemic is probably going to be around for a while. It's definitely a new era. I would say another, I don't know, it's really hard to say, but I mean, it might not even be gone by the time my lifetime's over.
I'm hoping this is the last kick at the can. that if there are any subsequent waves, that they are of lower magnitude, although like this one seems to spread faster, so who knows.
In what year was the original Parliament destroyed by fire? 1900, 1916, or 1930?
1916.
1930. 1916.
1930. 1900.
1916.
1916. I'll say the same. No? Do I have to be the different one?
You're both absolutely right.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. 1916.
Good for you.
Completed in 1865, Canada's new Parliament would be bound to endure as the seat of government in the newly formed nation. But in 1916, that would change as Canada's original Parliament building was destroyed by fire. Just before 9 p.m. on the evening of February 3rd, an alarm was sounded after a fire in the reading room grew out of control. Within an hour, the structure was doomed. Sadly, 7 people lost their lives. In the end, only the Library of Parliament was spared from the flames. 11 years later, construction was completed on the new Parliament, which included a peace tower, a memorial to those who lost their lives in the First World War.
Flooding, fires, heat waves, and extreme wind and rain events have caused havoc in this country over the past year, especially in British Columbia. The warning signs have been talked about for years, and many say we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg when it comes to climate-related catastrophes. So we took to the streets to ask Canadians how we can avoid these catastrophes before they happen. Our question:
what more could the federal government do to mitigate the effects of climate disasters?
I mean, climate change is like a really hard thing, and I think they're doing the best that they can. I think they're doing the best they can. Climate change is all over the place. Obviously, it's snowing a lot more here than it ever has. And it snowed a lot in Vancouver, too. That's where I'm from. Yeah, I think they're doing the best they can. I don't think there's much to do when it comes to climate change. There's not much that you can control.
There are things the government could do. If they did them, they would probably get voted out. So they can try, but they will fail, which is kind of sad. It would be nice if there was the political will for government to do more.
I don't believe that there is climate change. There is climate, and it's cyclical. And if you want to take the time and go back historically, this is part of a natural cycle of climate. I don't think they need to do anything.
They're not doing enough. I think there's too much talk and not enough action. Personally, I'm in a business that's affected by climate change, tourism, outdoor tourism, ecotourism, fishing, and it relies heavily on us preserving our environment. So I think they got to get after it, for me and for my kids and my grandkids.
I like the idea of the carbon tax, but I don't think it's actually making a difference. In terms of climate, wow, I don't know what else. I really don't.
It's got to be an international effort.
Yeah, it's got to be a worldwide.
So continuing to work with other countries is the only way, really. We have to work together.
It has to be taken so seriously. It's been too long and nothing done. Obviously everything going on around the world, it's a given. It's changing everywhere. They have to put their best foot forward and take care of what needs to be done. Everybody does, not just the government, everybody.
I mean, every year it's getting worse and worse with the different kinds of storms and the fires that we have. I'm hoping we can do something about it, but I don't know.
Learning from other provinces and countries, and that one is really tough. I never really thought about those things. Right now in these times it's all COVID, COVID, COVID.
I think we should be definitely investing more in kind of clean fuels, moving away ideally from oil. I know that's a hard thing to do.
I don't really know. I think, education is a big part of it, but I mean, at the end of the day, if it doesn't come from the people to make those changes, it's not going to make any changes. So where are you shopping, and where are you getting your food? Where are you getting your clothes? Are you supporting local? That's the kind of stuff that we as a society need to ask ourselves. I'm not sure. I mean, yes, the government obviously is important. We elected them, but it has to come from us as the people.
I think we should go with the people who are actually in the field and seeing what is working and do more of it. And I think some more funding for making people's houses, for example, more efficient, using less energy, so therefore less has to be made, yada, yada, yada. I think there's a lot of small steps that might make bigger impact than we think over time.
I guess do more with the heating up of the globe and try and control that a little bit better than what they've done.
We have to start to get less reliable on oil and find another resource. And I mean, there's certainly been an awful lot of disasters this year, which certainly is attributed to the climate change as far as I'm concerned, because I haven't in my lifetime seen things that were so bad with the climate. And to know what to do about it, I guess that they're putting on the carbon tax, but, I don't know if that's enough.
I do think that there is more that can be done, but I think it's more to large businesses that are not necessarily thinking about our climate to do some things. Our government has a certain limit of power over those companies, unfortunately. So I don't think it's necessarily the government's fault. I think it's more into looking into those companies and seeing what they can change, what we can change as consumers as well to help climate changes.
in my opinion, it starts with us and making the motions, right? I think that creating taxes to try to mitigate people from using things is not the way to go, because as you see, the revenues for governments have not gone down because the price of gas has gone up. We need gas, we need gas, we need to get around.
I feel like just stop funding fossil fueling and start actually putting money where the action should be, like investing in more of a greener economy instead of investing in pipelines and just like sponsoring all these projects that would contribute to the climate crisis.
Yeah, I completely agree. Plus awareness with everybody, because everybody believes a different thing. So if we're all on the same page, we can really start helping the environment.
Well, I think the government could probably do quite a bit, but it can do it only in conjunction with other nations as well. It has to be a collective effort, and that's some of the stuff that came out of COP26 in Glasgow. And we've got to stop doing lip service and take action, but collective action.
It feels good to feel optimistic. And while the last 2 years or so has had its share of ups and downs, many Canadians do prefer to look on the bright side. But not everyone feels that way. So we took to the streets to ask Canadians if they have a good vibe about the year ahead. Our question:
do you have a positive outlook for 2022?
I'm definitely hopeful. I hope that, obviously the pandemic takes a turn and takes a kite, but I definitely feel like ultimately, to be realistic, is probably going to continue for some time.
Yes, I do. We try to get down here, don't we? We try to get down to the park. We try to do outdoor things as much as possible, and I think we're learning so much for the past couple of years that what to do, and we'll get through it. Yes, I do have a positive outlook. It's not saying it's not easy, but it'll be over. It'll get over soon.
No, not really. I don't know where it's going to go and what's going to happen, but I mean, again, what can we do? We just got to sit there and take it and see how it goes and listen to what these people are telling us to do and try to get through it the best we can.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to have a positive outlook for sure, but it makes it hard. But hopefully it'll pass quickly and we'll get on with our lives.
I've booked 2 trips. And one had to be rescheduled already, but I'm hoping to definitely get them in. We'll see. It's better to book something and have something to look forward to, and if you get close, well, you might have to cancel, but than to have nothing to look forward to.
Absolutely. If you don't, it's not worth your while. Every day is a new day. Take it as it comes.
I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm retiring in the summer, so life is good.
We're doing what we have to do. It's really up to us. We need to be vaccinated, follow the science, social distance, follow the rules, plain and simple. We'll be okay. Our government gave a great response. There's no question of that. So what more can I say?
I do. I would say that the government is trying their best in this really sort of difficult, turbulent time to find the best course of action. It's never going to be easy. There's never going to be a quick door out, so I do.
I was positive going into it, and then the way that we're reacting to the Omicron and sticking our heads in the sand again leaves me a little less optimistic.
Sure, we're hoping for that.
And what do you hope to see in 2022?
That the COVID will be over and everybody can get together again, and the families can be joining with no problem and travel around, like within the country, and also visit other countries as well.
I think so. I mean, it's a chance to start anew, and I think the best advice I've received, and it's helped me in the last few years, just to take things one day at a time. And it's really daunting to look at something, from a year from now, but I think just taking things one step at a time can make anybody optimistic about what's to come. So.
We'll hopefully have this one last bang, and then hopefully it'll die down after this.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Got to stay positive if you want things to get better.
Yeah.
So.
Of course, I have a positive outlook for 2022. 2 years of COVID has shown us that positivity is the way to go, and we're starting off right in January.
I'm kind of hoping that people are going to get vaccinated and we'll be able to go back to normal as soon as possible.
I'm definitely trying, but it is very hard with the current decisions made by the Ford government. I think we should have locked down a long time ago. So it is heartbreaking to see how we have to go back to stage 2, but I think people my age are finding it hard to stay positive about it.
I don't know if you can catch COVID and survive. You got to be an optimist. So I'm really looking forward to getting out of this and moving forward. I mean, we have a pretty strong response on our business due to stay-home vacation types. So we're looking forward to next year being a little less encumbered by this pandemic and getting back to enjoying what we do.
I'm feeling a little bit better about this year than last year. I didn't really have a graduation last year. The graduation was a little bit iffy. They tried to do the best they can, but like there's not much to do with all the restrictions that were going around in the summer. So I really hope that this year, after I'm done my first year of university, the restrictions are a little bit better so I can actually enjoy the summer instead of having to wear a mask when I'm out everywhere. So I really hope they like put heavy restrictions now so everything starts to look up around like May. I think that would be the smartest idea.
Yeah, because I'm basically an optimist, and I believe that a lot of rot is being shown, and that rot is being exposed right now, and a lot of people are waking up to how corrupt things have been for a long time.
I hope we don't have the same fires in BC. I hope that we don't have the same snows. I hope we don't have the same flooding. I hope and pray that we have a really benign climate experience.
Mediocre. I think it's going to be a repeat of 21. Markets are in a shambles. There's a lot of indecision and uncertainty. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's all positive. It's all learning. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's suffering along the way, but we'll get there.
I think Canadians, British Columbians have come through a heck of a tough time, and they've come through it very well. I'm very optimistic. We'll have good weather. I think this pandemic will be largely behind us. There's great optimism. Business is booming. There's no empty spots downtown, you know, in the stores. Restaurants are busy. I think it's good. People want to spend, they want to get going, and optimism is very, very prevalent, and I'm one of them.
I'm excited. I think things are going to be better this year than the last couple years have been.
I'm happy 2021 is done, and I'm super excited for 22. I think positive attitude is all we can have, and make the best of it. Why not?
I don't know. I remember when at the end of 2020, everybody was talking about what a horrible year that was, looking forward to 2021, and then actually it was 2019, and then there were all the fires, and 2020 was horrible, and then 2021 was horrible. So I think 2022, if a meteor doesn't hit the Earth, we'll be beating expectations.
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on CPAC. If you have any comments about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. I'm Glenn McGuinness, and on behalf of my colleagues at the Cable Public Affairs Channel, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.